Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Yay, everything's working. Fantastic. I love when shit actually works. Yay. All right, we are cooking with gas. Fantastic. We are live. All right, cool. We're gonna do the November reads. Sorry, I'm just getting on Storygraph. If you guys have not heard of Storygraph yet, you should use it. It's amazing. I love it. It turns all of your reads into little pie charts and stuff. It's really fun. I really, 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 really endorse it. It's really good. I'm just scrolling back to the beginning of my November reads. Okay, what did I all read in November? Read books, November. While that's loading. So yep, here is, oh hey Witch, how are you? So here is Storygraph. Again, it's a free app and it breaks down all of your reads into little like pie charts and stuff like that. So like this first one is like the moods of all my reads. So you can see on this chart, it has my three most top ones are adventurous, dark, and mysterious. And you could see that I mostly read, what is it, fiction. You could see that. I think there's like one tiny sliver of nonfiction. And then here you can see a breakdown of all the genres. So I highly recommend it, but I'm going to turn it to the month of November. So you can see here I can break down the months. Vibato, I hope I didn't mess that up. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. We're going to go over my November reads. Welcome to the office. Okay, I have my little pile here of books that we're going to go over today. It's been a really productive month. Actually, I was going to count them, but I was like, I don't need to count them. We have technology. It says here that I read 19 books this month. Woo, that's a good amount. Alina, Roger, welcome. We're going to go over my November reads. I was just telling everybody about Storygraph. Not sponsored, but hey, Storygraph, if you want to, please. I like this one better than Goodreads. The reason, it makes little fun charts for you. So if you really like reading, if you read a lot of books like I do, and you like to kind of like get statistic about it, I really enjoy Storygraph for this reason. Plus, it'll tell you like the breakdown. Like right now I can look and see I read 19 books. That was 6,408 pages and all that good stuff. And I can tell the breakdown of those books. I can even tell how many pages per day. Job any... I have no idea how to say that. Job? I have no idea how to say that. I'm very sorry. Kenny? Stacy? Thank you guys for coming. Welcome. We just started the live. We're going to go over November reads. I was just talking about Storygraph. So I'm just pulling up the list for November. Once I can get the books listed. Boop. All right. So I'm getting them all sorted here in my stack. There we go. Okay. So I'll probably just do them in the reverse way because that's just how the app does them. So I'll do them whatever the last one was first. And that would be The 13th Child. So I just finished this book yesterday. Oh, holy people. Peter, Sammy, Heath, E.G., thank you guys for joining. We just started. My first book I'm talking about is The 13th Child. This is the Barnes & Noble edition. It has beautiful gilded edges. They're gold. It's so shiny, right? And the inside has this beautiful, like, look at the end papers with these floral patterns. So very pretty, but it's not just pretty. This book took me by surprise. So I bought it offhand just because I was like, oh, okay, the cover's cute, the edges are cute, and then the blurb kind of interested me a little bit, but I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I haven't heard of it. I heard of the author before, but I've never, like, this wasn't on my FYP. Yes. Everything about this book, yes. So basically there is a couple, and they have 13 kids. 13 fucking kids. And by the 13th kid, they're like, we can't afford these kids. They're fucking expensive. Because kids, they suck. They're expensive. And they're like, what are we going to do with this 13th kid? So they call up, and they're like, the gods are like, yo, we'll take this kid. So the first god comes, and they're like, no, we don't. So there's a whole bartering thing. It ends up that the god of death gets the kid. And so the god of death becomes the godfather of this 13th child. The kid gets powers and stuff. I'm not going to go into it. But the kid ends up being a healer and is, like, renowned throughout the land. And it goes through this trial and tribulation and gets called upon when this horrible plague goes across the land and infects the king. And that's where our story is taking place. It is so good. It is so enriching. I loved it because there's a lot of mythology, but there's also a lot of biology in it, which, if anyone who hasn't been here in a hot minute, my bachelor's was in biology, and so I loved that aspect of it as well. And so it was a treat that I wasn't expecting to like. I was like, oh, okay, it's gonna be a nice little fantasy. Took me off guard. I was completely off guard. And there were so many, like, little instances in this book that I loved. Like, they were just dropping truth bombs. Where was it? There was a line that I loved. There was this line in here where the prince is talking to her because the death god, who's her godfather, makes her cake every year, but she doesn't like sweets, but he makes her this sweet cake every year that she just eats because it's easier. And so she says he enjoys making them, the cakes, and it just feels easier to let him do it. And then the prince says, a slice of cake is not a then she says, a slice of cake is not a hardship. The prince says, no, but going through life, allowing others to impose their will upon you simply because it gives them pleasure to do so could be. No, not could be. It is. That line, what the fuck? That book has no business being, like, like, shouting out truths like that. So, this book, it was just chef's kiss, 5 stars. It was probably, like, one of my favorite books this month. You need to read this. Top tier. So I'm going to put that to the side, move on to the next book. Okay, who else has joined? We have got Chrissy. We've got Johnson. Hey guys, welcome to the party. We're talking about November reads. So far I've talked about my favorite book this month, The 13th Child. That literally was one of my favorite books this month. It's been a hot minute since I've had a book that I liked so much. Next up, we have Warriors of Wind and Ash. This is the second book in the Merciless Dragons series. The first book is The Serpents of Sky and Flame, which I read a few months ago. So this is Dragon Shifters. So if you enjoy dragons, this is it. This is by my girl Rebecca Kenny. I read a ton of her books. I love her books. This one, again, as it was the sequel, it just basically takes off from the second. So literally we just jump from the first book to the second book. I actually had to read a little bit of this one because I kind of forgot where we left off, where the princess gets captured and is, you know, going back to the kingdom. It was fine. I didn't like... It was such a dichotomy between the vibes, because we have the princess who is going through the motions right now because she is captured. She is being, like, assaulted. Like, she's going through the ringer of, like, traumatic bullshit. And then we have the guy who's, like, trying to pretend, like, he's a dragon shifter, and so he's trying to, like, pretend to be human to get into the court to try and save her. And he's just, like, the novelty of being human. So it's trying to be, like, the comic relief, and it's trying to balance, but I don't know. I felt like the whole time I was off kilter. So it wasn't for me, but it was still a good book. I gave it 3.75 stars. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as I love the first book. The first book was amazing. What else? Oh yes, this series. So a few months ago, I read the first book in this series, which was A Betrayal of Storms. And so this month, Angry Robots, the publisher, sent me the next 2 in the series. So this is the second book. I almost got that backwards. A Kingdom of Lies. This is the sequel. And then the third book in the series, A Deception of Courts. Aren't these covers all gorgeous with the foiling and everything? They're so pretty. So again, they take off right where we left off in the first book. We have our main character who finds out that he is half fae, half human. Again, that's not a spoiler. That's in the first book. And it just takes off right from there where he goes into battle and he's fighting the king. That's what this one's all about. I won't go any further because this one just released, I want to say, the 12th or 14th of this month. So this one is a very new release. But that's what this one goes into, is the war and fighting the king, building his army. So that is what that one is about. And then the next one is all about just the deception going past that after he has broken down the king. And again, I won't too much because I don't want to spoil the sequel. But just kind of, it continues on from there. So I don't want to spoil anything. These books were fine. Again, I gave them middle of the road. The second one I gave 4 stars. This one I gave 3.75 stars to. They were all very nice, good world building, good characterization. If you like Fae, like ACOTAR, Throne of Glass, those are the books that you're going to really gravitate towards. They're very full of world building and things of that nature. All right. Oh, holy monkeys. We got a lot of people. We've got Gabrielle. We've got Sam. We've got Aubrey, Savage, Olive, MC. Thank you guys for joining. Welcome. We're talking about books, so pull up a chair. Welcome to my Has Been Inspired office. We're talking about books. Let's go. And hey, so if anyone's seen the Wicked movie lately, I've got the perfect book for you. So coming up in March of 2025, this book will be dropping. This is a prequel novel, Elfie, that talks about Elfie's childhood growing up. So if you enjoyed the Wicked movie, you probably will enjoy this. I really enjoyed it, but I will let you know it's very dark. It has a lot of very I don't know, just very triggering themes and scenes that are not for everybody. So just keep that in mind. Definitely check your trigger warnings on this. There were times, even though it's a very short book, there were times I had to put this book down and read something else because it gets dark. It gets very dark. She has a very tragic life, unfortunately, but it builds the character that we know. So this book comes out in March, and I loved this book. I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked it. I don't really know what else to say. I really enjoyed it. I found it just a great read, and I think a lot of you guys who enjoyed the other books in the series are going to be in for a treat. The finished copies of these, I've heard, are going to have the edges. They're going to have special edges or something. This one doesn't. This is an early copy. You can see at the top it says it's a proof copy. So this one obviously does not, but the finished ones will have special edges. So keep that in mind. So definitely pre-order this. I think if you pre-order on Amazon, they'll have the special edges for you guys. All right. Next up, a surprise favorite of mine that I wasn't expecting for this year. So last month I read Butcher and Blackbird, and I fucking loved it. I loved it. Didn't think I was gonna like that series at all. I bought it actually offhand, just for shits and giggles because somebody else told me they liked it. I saw a lot of people on Book Talk saying it was great. I don't know, and I thought, I'm not gonna like this book. Why am I getting this book? So I bought it because I have no self-control. So I purchased the book, and I fell in love with it. I read it. It was funny. I just thought it was a hilarious book. The book had such... It's morbid and dark, don't get me wrong, but it's, like, humorous. That's the same thing with Leather and Lark. So I read the sequel. It's the same thing. It's just dry, dark humor constantly, and I loved it. It's the same banter, the same thing. So if you love the first one, you're going to love the second one. I will say, if I had to rank them, I definitely put the first one above the second one. I'm very excited for the third one to be coming out. I think it comes out February of next year. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited for the third one to come out. That is on my want list for next year. Oh my gosh, we have more people. Hi, we have Lakes End, Victoria. We have the Foot Queen. The Queen of Feet is here. Kayleen, Dan the Meme Man. So many people. Hi, welcome. We're going over my reads. Helen has joined. Next up, why did the app close? That's rude as hell. Next up, I have another one from Ben Alderson. I have so many from Ben Alderson. That author, I have a ton from this one. So this is Heir of Thorn and Flame. Here is what the cover looks like. I believe that this is a reprint, so this one was already in circulation, and they just redesigned the cover, which that happens a lot. This one was from Grand Central Publishing. Again, this is another Fae book. It's really, really nice. I really like the cover. I think it's really cool. But let me grab my notes here. But again, we're looking for, it's fantasy. We have it where the main character accidentally offs the prince and then has to take his place. Magic doesn't really exist in this world, and then all of a sudden it manifests in our main character just spontaneously. Yeah, and so it's a very interesting read and just kind of a political intrigue. So again, if you like ACOTAR, The Cruel Prince, those kind of vibes, this would be a good book for you. This one I gave a 3.5 star to, so I enjoyed it. Again, high fantasy, what's not to love? Who doesn't love a good Fae high fantasy novel? Or I'm sorry, not Fae, Mage. This was Mage. I get these all like confused after a while. So this one was with magic and dragons, I believe. Yes. When you read like 20 books a month, they all run together. Oh, okay. This one I do remember though. Symbiote. This one reminded me of The Thing. Do you guys remember The Thing, the movie? So Symbiote is all about a virus that spreads into Antarctica. So sound familiar? Kind of like The Thing. So we have it. The back literally says "Contagion meets Walking Dead." Yeah, very similar. So we have 2 Antarctic bases. One of them gets overrun with this mysterious kind of like illness, virus sort of thing, and it spreads onto the other base. And so we're kind of just like going through the logs and watching as this mysterious illness takes hold. Again, I really enjoyed it because watching it through a biologist lens, they do a lot of science jargon, not too much. So if that's not your thing, don't worry about it. But it's fun to like have it through a scientist lens. It was just very interesting, and I enjoyed that part of it. And the cover's really cool. I get because of the whole Antarctica and then the infection. I just loved the artwork. I thought it was cool. But yeah, if you liked The Thing, you would really enjoy this. I thought it was really cool. Also, if you enjoyed, what was that book? The Hot Zone. If you've ever read The Hot Zone, which is about Ebola, very similar vibes. I really, really liked that. It made my skin crawl. So, in a good way. Like, in the way that you would want a book like this to happen. Oh gosh. Claudie, Dino, Robbie, Tenaz, Alani, Megan, Laura. Hi everybody. Welcome to the live. Welcome to my has-been inspired office. We are talking about books. All right, next up that I read this month is The Witch Who Trades with Death. This book is coming out again. I have a lot that are coming out in March. So this is The Witch Who Trades with Death. Isn't that cover like freaking gorgeous? With the skull and then all of the like greenery. I think that's so like pretty. So this is from Angry Robot Books. I got a lot of books from them this month. There was an Angry Robot book month. So in this book, it was a very interesting magic system. We have necromancers in this book who can transform life force. I can't talk. Transfer life force from one entity to another, so they can like give people more life force or take it away and transfer it between one another. As like their kind of way of how their necromancer powers work. And depending on how hurt somebody is, they can like actually kill them or not. It won't work if they're too hurt. So I thought that was interesting. I liked how the power and magic system worked in this one. It was not what I was thinking it was going to be. For some reason, I thought it was going to be more of like a bargaining sort of thing. It's not. It's very a lot more political driven, a lot more on the front lines, like battle driven, which isn't bad. It's just not what I was expecting. And so I gave this one a 3.75. I think I rated a lot of them kind of in the middle. A lot of good books this month. So there's that one. Again, coming out in March, so you can pre-order that one. It'll be here soon. Literally, it's the end of November. It's going to be December, like tomorrow. So these books will be available very, very soon. Next up, I read a holiday book. I read a couple holiday books, actually. So Spectacular, which just released, what was it, like last month? I think it just like released last month. It's so pretty. Look at it. So this is the Barnes & Noble edition, I believe. Yes. And it's so cute with the green and the red. Very like holiday. It's so pretty, right? Laura, Usign, Kermit, Leo, Sarah, lipstick emoji. Thank you guys for joining. We're talking about books. We're in my has-been lair. Welcome. We're talking about Spectacular. I really enjoyed this one. I have just read the Caravel series. I just read them, I want to say 2 months ago. I made myself finally read them because everyone kept saying I needed to read them. I needed to read them. I read them. I fucking loved them. So I was excited to see that this was coming out. I'm like, perfect. I have finally caught up. I can read them. And I loved the illustrations. First off, the fact that they did like a beautiful... Look at that. Beautiful end papers for this. And I love that they did the foiling on the cover. That's gorgeous. Just absolutely gorgeous. Like, books have no business to be this beautiful. Like, just being... Like, I get this is a Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, but I think just the standard editions have this too. And they're illustrated on the inside. They're illustrated. And they have color. Like, they have, like, red and stuff. Like, you don't see that normally. So I loved that. Like, yeah, it's not very long. It's a very, very short book. It's meant to be. It's a little novella. But I thought it was cute. Put me in the holiday spirit. It's very nice. And I got to be with these characters a little bit longer. So I gave it 4 stars. It was nice. It gave me warm fuzzies. And it's nice to be with those characters again. Next up, I have another one from my girl, Rebecca Kenny. This one is The Horseman of Sleepy Hollow. This is one of her, I want to say the Immortal Warriors series books, which are a series of books that are part of the same universe, but they are all standalones, if that makes sense. Moy, thank you for joining. So here's what this one is. It's quite just literally a retelling of The Horseman of Sleepy Hollow. So if you like supernatural, if you like retellings, if you like things with a little dash of love and romance, then this is for you. Again, it's a very short story, but it was fun. Something to put in the fall mood. So, I don't know. It was nice. I liked it. I gave this one a 3.5 star, and yeah. I had read all the other ones of the Immortal Warrior series, and so this was the only one that I had left, and I wanted to check it off of my list. Next up, I don't have it in my hands because it was a digital ARC, but it was The Half King. I did not like The Half King. Let me pull it up so that way you have a picture of the cover. So it's the one that looks like this. I gave it 1.5 stars. Is that not going to load? It's not going to load. Oh, that's very unhappy. But I didn't like it. It just... I didn't feel like it was going anywhere. The characters were all just... And the plot just drug forever. Like, it was just... It didn't go anywhere. Like, I kept reading to see, like, okay, or maybe we're gonna build. Like, maybe we're gonna build. And I got 50% of the way, 75% of the way. Finally I got to the end, and I'm like, we didn't go anywhere. We really didn't. And the main character's literally an adult, but acts just like a teenager, and it's frustrating as hell. So no shame to anyone who enjoyed this book, but it's not my vibe. I gave it a 1.5 star. It wasn't the vibe for me. And that's okay if it's your vibe. It just wasn't my vibe. Alright. Next we have... Where is it? Oh, did I not pull that book? Oh, it's because it's not out yet. The next book I have is Charming Devil, which was an ARC read. It looks like this. That's going to be very blurry. That's upsetting. It's Charming Devil. It's by Rebecca Kenny, which I read a lot of her books this month. I was on like a binge of all of her books. But if you look up Charming Devil, Rebecca Kenny, it'll come up. It is a retelling of The Picture of Dorian Gray. So if you enjoy The Picture of Dorian Gray and want to see that being retold in a modern lens, there you go. I loved it. I thought it was great. Her book is going to have red sprayed edges for the first print run. You can order it on Amazon or Target or Barnes & Noble. Pretty sure all retailers. I thought it was great. I thought it was just a nice, refreshing take on a classic tale. I don't know what else to say about it. I just really liked it. It was great. It was romantic, it was exciting, it had a lot of action, and the pace was very fast, which is what I want in a book. I don't know what else to say, and I remember like highlighting the hell out of that. Like if I had my Kindle here, I would show you like some of I highlighted so much of that arc. And that is coming out in, I believe, February? I don't know when that's coming out. February 11th. So that's coming out really, really soon because it's already December. Well, gonna be December soon, so it's literally 2 months away. So that's gonna be really exciting. I would highly recommend that book. Then, next book I have, also by Rebecca Kenny. I told you I was on like a whole Rebecca Kenny like vibe this month. Is this book, A Heart So Cold and Wicked. This is part of her Wicked Darlings series, but it's a standalone separate. The edges of this. Look at it. So this is a Krampus retelling. It's so good. So it has a lot of lore and mythology inspired by the folklore of Krampus. It's the perfect book for like the holiday season if you enjoy that sort of folklore and myth. Oh, we have so many people. We have Ham Spatties, we have Stephanie, Michelle, M, Queen Emily, Patrick, Christian, Amanda. Thank you guys for joining. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Don't forget to follow along for more content, please. Following is always appreciated. It is not required, but it's appreciated if you like book content, if you like has-been content, and if you like cat content, because sometimes my cats show up randomly in my videos, whether I want them to or not. So back to this. So again, this was a Krampus retelling. It's a gorgeous book. I loved this special edition that she did on her Etsy shop, and it's just beautiful. I have like 3 copies of this book, and I don't know why. But it was great. I gave it 5 stars. I highly recommend it if you need a book for this holiday season that has a lot of romance, spice, you know, you're looking for like a touch of just that winter vibe. This is it. All right. We have Fortune's Kiss, which was sent to me from Union Square Publishing. So here's what it looks like. And it kind of reminds me of tarot cards. It's about a card game, and I couldn't really understand. They kept explaining the card game, but I never really understood what the card game was, and I tried to Google it, and I still don't understand what the card game is. It reminds me a lot of tarot, but it's not tarot. So I still don't understand. No matter how many times I've tried to Google it and read it and do research on it. But the basic gist of this is we have two friends and they're going through and they're trying to raise their fortunes. They're trying to improve their current situations in life. They both have different stations in life, and they both want to improve their stations for different reasons. And there is this game, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Caravel sort of vibes, but it's not Caravel. It's a good read. Again, it's tarot cards, but I still don't know how the game is played. I'm not explaining it very well. I don't know how to explain this. I'm not doing a great job. I have one job and I'm really failing at it right now. Basically, they're playing cards, and if they lose, they die. And that's like the whole gist of it. If they lose, they die. So the stakes are really high. It just came out in November. I think this was the 12th. I gotta check my calendar. The 12th? This just came out the 12th, so it's relatively new. But again, I don't understand how it played, because the way that they kept explaining the game kind of felt like they were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And when they would lose in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Battle, they would die. I don't know. But the writing itself was fine. The characters themselves were fine. I just didn't understand the card game, but that could be just a me issue. So I gave it like a middle of the road, like 2.5, 3 star, because I was just like, maybe I'm just the idiot, which is very possible. Next up, I had a really cute book that I was very excited for. It was The Nightmare Before Christmas. Again, a holiday book that's good for Halloween or Christmas. Yay, just like The Nightmare Before Christmas, because I believe that that book is good for both holidays, or that movie is good for both holidays, just like this book. This book is cute, it's queer, it's everything in between. Basically, we have the Prince of Christmas trying to shake things up in his holiday because he notices that some really shitty things are happening, and he's trying to save Christmas. And the Prince of Halloween is trying to help him and accomplish those goals. And they end up, some romantic things happen along the way. Very like red, white, and blue sort of romance. Very cute, very cutesy. And it's very fun. Like, it's just very light. Like, it's not... There is plot but it's very like lighthearted. If you want something fun for the holidays, like you're going on a, you're going traveling and you want to have something that you're not going to have to invest a lot of emotion into, this is the book that you're going to want. It was very fun. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it, and I'm excited because there's a sequel coming out, and I gotta look it up. Because I don't know it offhand. There it is. Okay, so there is a sequel to this, not with the same characters, but it's called Go Luck Yourself. Luck. L-U-C-K. I didn't swear. Go Luck Yourself. And I'm trying to see what characters it has in it. Obviously, with, like, it, I'm assuming luck, so I'm assuming it's with, like, the St. Patrick's Day guy, like, the guy, St. Patty's Day. But, oh, yeah, so so there's 2 brothers that are the princes of Christmas, so it's with the other brother of Christmas and the St. Patrick's Day prince. So that'll be really interesting to read. I already pre-ordered it. I was like, I need that yesterday. And then the last book that we'll be covering, which is actually the first book that we'll be covering, is this one, which is This Will Be Fun. This book did finally release, so I can spill the tea on it, because at the time when I reviewed it, I couldn't spill the tea on it, but now I can finally review it. I was really excited. This one is called This Will Be Fun. It just released end of October. October 29th. It looks like this. And it came with a cute little scroll. And I was so excited because it looked really fucking cute. It had a cute little scroll that came with the PR package. You can't read it because my camera is shit. Oh my gosh, so many people joined. Oh god, where'd we start? Abby, 420 Kenley, Emerald, Clancy, Depths, Jas, Michelle, Robbie, Sky. Hey, thank you guys for joining. Feel free to follow, please. I'm trying to get to 10K. Anyway, back to the books. So it had this cute little fucking scroll, which basically just read, that we're invited to the Queen's engagement, royal wedding, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Very fantasy-esque, very, cutesy. And I was like, this should be right up my alley. And it was. I was enjoying this book. I was living for this book. Up until the last fucking, 20 to 30 pages. And I can finally tell you why. Because it's out. So, the whole point of this book, I'm gonna spill tea, because I actually liked this book up until, and because I got sent this book by who sent me. I liked it. Was this Penguin? No, this is Harper. This is HarperCollins. I was sent this book, and I did not enjoy the ending. I gave it 2.5 stars because the ending made me upset. Loved it the whole way through, except the ending, because the whole point of this is we have heroes that had a terrible thing happen to them 10 years ago. And we're watching them now 10 years later. What have they done 10 years later? How have they moved on from this big, terrible thing that has happened to them? How have they become better people? How has their character developed? What are they doing now? And then we watch them go through this journey 10 years later, because now they've done another quest. And they're doing it now and growing as people. And we get to the end of this quest 10 years later. And they finish their quest. And then the one hero, develops some sort of time-related power. And then goes back 10 years in the past and takes away that traumatic event from 10 years in the past and reverses it. So they all still have that trauma, but it's all unearned trauma. Now and then it reverses it. And then it just undoes everything. All that trauma and all that character growth and all that building that we had with these characters is then undone. They reset it. And I'm not saying I wasn't grateful that they went back and they saved somebody, but we spent like 300 pages with these folks, with this character development, and we like built them, and they made lives, and they became better people from what they experienced. And then they literally, the one person went back and they're like, yeah, you know what, and now that we have the icing on our cupcake, we need the big cherry on the top. And I'm like, you really didn't need the cherry on the top, because now everything is just too sweet. Your cake is overly sweet. You've ruined it. So, and anyone who has read this book is going to understand what I'm talking about. I don't want to ruin it, but I'm trying to be covert without ruining. So, this book was a huge kind of like letdown for me. I enjoyed everything up until that last fucking part. Anyway, so that was very upsetting for me. Anyway, so those were my books. I have a couple books that I didn't go over just because I don't have them on hand and I don't have my Kindle with me. But those were the books I read. Sorry, I'm trying to I have a stacked tower here now and I don't want them to fall. And I hope you guys enjoyed my little going over them. Oh gosh, we have more people. Nova, Junkie June, Grace, Sleepy Snoozer, Alicia, thank you guys for joining. Again, anyone that came here to join the stream, thank you for watching me talk about my books. I know it's fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And anyone who is here before we head out, I'm going to remind you guys, please, to drop a follow and watch a couple of the videos if you want. Hang out. But yeah, I'm going to go and get back to reading. I'm currently reading today this one, The Hymn to Dionysus. This one comes out, gosh, I know it's in 2025. This is March of 2025. This is from Bloomsbury Publishing. Obviously, Greek mythology. So this is what I'm going to be reading today. Yeah, let me know what you guys are going to be reading today. So I'm very excited about this one. All right. And have a good weekend, everybody. See you later.